Hey everybody, what's up? I apologize if I sound a little hoarse. I'm trying to get over this cough here, this cold here. I'm drinking some hot tea while I do it. Oh, it's better. But you see the title down right there in front of you. This is by Archie Sonic Luz. Excuse me. And he posted this, as you can see right there, at 10:27 p.m. depending on where you live and where he lives. Ooh. Oh, that's better. But anyway, he posted this, and you can see the question he asked. He asked Ian Flynn, the next Frank Miller. And you can pretty much see what he says right off the bat. He says, and this is Archie Sonic Luz, or ASL. He says, now before any Ian Flynn fan, well, he just put Flynn, but it says, now before any Ian fan goes postal about this journal entry, I'm merely asking the group a question and would like their honest feedback. Excuse me. He goes on to say, so, do you think Ian Flynn will soon become the next Frank Miller in terms of comic book head writers if he hasn't already? Now, this is what Archie Sonic Luz says. This is his opinion. So, look at it as you will, but this is his opinion. Oh, it's good. But this is his opinion. And he says, personally, I believe he will be. That's Archie Sonic Luz, everybody. Archie Sonic Luz, who believes that. That's what Archie Sonic Luz's opinion is, right there. He says, personally, I believe he will be. I'm seeing the warning signs. Of course, there will be those who will be saying this question is completely off the wall and just another anti-Ian bash, saying their writings are apples and oranges. But is it really? Here's a couple of interesting similarities. That's better. Anyway, again, this is Archie Sonic Luz, as you saw. He says, here's a couple of interesting similarities. And this is his opinion, folks. This is his opinion. He says, Frank Miller in his earlier days wasn't that bad of a writer. In fact, I might even say he was pretty good at his work too. The same can be said of Ian somewhat. His early works are not all that horrible. Granted, Fiona going evil and Tails and Sonic's converted fight was pretty awful, but for the most part, issues 160 to 200 were not that awful of a run. Excuse me. There were some good and even decent issues in that bunch, I'll admit. But like Miller, Ian then went bonkers during his later run, from 201 and on. He began to write some of the worst kind of trash I've ever seen from any Sonic writer, with it finally reaching a boiling point in 220 and on. And like Miller again, Ian has pushed his boundaries a great deal over time, causing a lot of controversy in the latest arc. Okay, hold on. Do I need to bring up all the sickening and pointless mutilation he's done to the comic book cast? Again, remember, this is Archie Sonic Luz's opinion. Okay. So that now comes to my latest point. Okay, so that now comes to my last point. As we are all aware, Miller finally crossed the line, writing that infamous Batman line that will forever tarnish his once prestigious writing career. Ian has yet to cross that line with his readers, as much as I hate to admit the fact. Nevertheless, I believe he will in the very near future. This fanboy has got the ego the size of Mount Everest. And I think it won't be too much longer before he will take that final controversial step of his power trip, thinking he won't get any heat from it. But instead will, angering his readers just as much as Miller angered those who read the Batman comics. What will that controversial step be? I honestly don't know. Knowing Ian and his sick thought process, it could be just about anything. Like the old saying says, pride goes before a fall. And this saying has yet to be proven wrong. If you let your pride go to your head, you will eventually fall. Anyhow, that's my take about this. What about yours? Share your comments below and let me know. Okay. That was again Archie Sonic Gluz's opinion. Now, I know what you're all thinking. I know a lot of you are thinking is exactly what he said there at the beginning. You know, you're basically thinking that it's way off track. There's no way Ian Flynn would do this because Sonic is essentially a kid's comic. That is true. That is true, I will admit that. But as I've said before, everybody is entitled to their opinion, and Archie Sonic Gluz, ASL, is entitled to his. I mean, if he feels in his right mind and in his heart that Ian Flynn is going to be like Frank Miller became, then that's his opinion. I mean, if you want an honest answer, just Google Frank Miller and Linkara in Google search and you'll see what we mean. And you'll probably get why he feels this way. You see, you can't blame anybody for feeling that way. You know, everybody pretty much feels that it wasn't that what Ian is doing is not necessary. But then again, there are those that are like, look, maybe it is necessary, just wait it out. And there are those that do support him and say, hey, look, you guys don't see what he's doing. He's doing something good. He's doing something great. But, like everybody has pointed out, Ian Flynn, you know, at times has done some very controversial, some very unusual and questionable stuff. But the question that, you know, Archie Sonic Gluz is asking is, do you, like him, think Ian Flynn is on the verge of being like Frank Miller in his later years? If you know anything about Frank Miller and know the line that he's talking about when it comes to Frank Miller's Batman, then you probably have an idea where Archie Sonic Gluz is coming from. But is that really true? Is that the direction he's going in? Honestly, I don't think he's going in that direction just yet. I'm not saying he will, and I'm not saying he won't. We're just going to have to wait and see. You know, and I can understand why he's asking this question. You know, he's taking a look at what's going on in the comic right now, and he pretty much figures that, you know, Ian Flynn, with everything that's coming down on him, is eventually going to be going in that similar direction and end up doing something that's going to overstep boundaries with not just those that currently don't like what he's doing, not just with those that are sort of like in the middle and being like, hey, let's just wait and see what happens before we cast any judgment. And even those that support him. He basically believes Ian Flynn is eventually going to cross that line that's going to anger all sides and have all sides turn against him. But we don't know that just yet, so we just have to wait and see. So let me know what you guys think about this question. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to y'all later.